this at a thrift store in Elgin called Martha's Market. It was made by a group of people in Mexico called the Huichol. And, it's the funniest thing. When I sit down with people, they can be talking about something terrible that happened to them, and their hand, usually we'll be doing something called mind walking at this point, which is where my hands are with their hands and we're having a conversation. It's a way for our nervous systems to communicate and for them to really show me before we get on the table what's going on with them. If they've got something going on, usually spiritual in nature, usually their hand will go right there, and I will see all the crap leaving. It's white cave aragonite. It grew in a cave, and it helps the really fine spiritual energies move. It's a very pure stone. It works with very rarefied energies, very feminine ones. And right here, I've got a little girl's hair clips. She came in, and I just like the idea of having a little piece of her energy still here soaking up the goodness. So I keep her hair clips there. I do that with little things that people leave. That is your sphenoid bone. It sits in your head like that, and it rocks like a rocking chair, forward and backward. Also kind of looks like angel's wings. So, and it's the cornerstone of the craniosacral system. If sphenoid is not doing well, you're going to have some issues. Sphenoid needs to sit really well on this joint right here with the occiput. That's the back of your head. It actually meets somewhere in the middle of all this madness. A lot of what I do hinges around sphenoid, I should say. And so I like to have sphenoid here to look at while I'm working. I like it there to set the tone and the energy for the space. But it also tells your soul that we're going to perhaps be addressing your sphenoid, because your soul walks in here and knows what that is. I don't have to tell it. Our brains are a little slower. They take time to catch up, but our soul knows. That is a smoky negative entropic quartz. A negative entropic quartz makes entropy, which is the tendency of things toward chaos, decrease. And the smoky is about grounding stress. If you think about it, smoky quartz exists in places where there's a fault line, usually, and there's a lot of pressure. Things are put under extreme amounts of heat, pressure, and radiation, and that's what causes the quartz to change color. We get put under intense stressors as well, and so I think that we can learn something from the rock. That's a temporal bone. Those are complicated. Look in there. It's beveled, kind of like a fish's gill. This is on the inside. So your dural membrane adheres along these edges. The dura is the toughest outermost layer of your meninges, the casing around your brain and your spinal cord. And here you have the auditory meatus, like the passage where you stick the Q-tip. You have your vestibulocochlear nerve, which is about balance. You've got your auditory processing. You have a lot of stuff happening right here. It's pretty intense. And the suture between temporal bone and occiput, things get pinchy in there, and you've got critical stuff passing through there. You've got your glossopharyngeal nerve, which is about eating, swallowing. Spinal accessory, vagus. We all have heard about the vagus nerve. Its connection to stress and our overall well-being. So I like to have this present in the room to look at. Just if I'm working with a temporal bone, I'll stare at this from across the room and ground and center myself. Plus, it tells your soul what's up when you walk in. This is an amethyst scepter. This baby is amazing. It's amazing. So what I will do a lot of the time, I will have a person come and help me hold this thing, and it will start to move. I ask the Holy Spirit to come and move it, and it will indicate sometimes what needs to happen. Like I've had it in a mother and child session. It's like, and I was asking silently to myself, where do I start? And it pointed at the mom. This is an orbix, and this is the shape of our soul. We could see it from a higher place. We look kind of like this. Having it in the room brings your soul more toward balance. And it likes to move. It's moving the energy right now as we speak. I'm allowing it to do that. What I have done in the past, I've put this guy on a string and moved it around a person's energy field, and a lot of the time it'll take the garbage out for me. I like doing that. It's nice and easy. But I think of this as my body. This is orbix. Everybody needs orbix. This is narcissist pig. These both represent parts of what it is to be human, right? We all have baser tendencies, right? Lust, anger, these sorts of things. We also deal with narcissists here. And truth be told, we all have narcissistic tendencies. For somebody who has gone through years and years of abuse, who is questioning their own reality, and whose concept of God and the universe is tied to somebody else's disapproving voice, it really helps to help them recast that noise as not the voice of God. So this is a crotal rattle. It's noisy, and if there are any obnoxious energies, it makes them leave. So I want to introduce you to my mud ball. This is my friend, the mud ball. What's that? Yes, mud ball is very, very special. I got mud ball on vacation. Tell them where. Big Bend. Actually, this is from an oil field in Iran, Texas, where everything was under a very deep ocean, and when the ocean receded, it pulled the dirt into balls of mud, like you see here. The circular shape is very feminine in nature. It invokes the energy of ancient oceans, which helps us to explore our subconscious realms. Now, in the Bible, it says to guard your heart, and we know that the heart is the subconscious. That's what that is. We need to explore that. We need to use our imaginations and our hearts, and we need to invite our higher power, for me that is Jesus, on the trip. Anyway, this rock helps me do that, and I really like it. And it also helps with issues like shame and guilt and the things that we get stuck on. So it's my friend and I like it. I hope you like her too. Oh, and a word about why we have candles. One day I just started doing it, to be honest with you, and it has felt better and cleaner in here, and it has felt like there was more oomph toward transformation ever since I started doing it. It was actually during the ice storm, February 2nd or 3rd, and it was because there was no power in here. And I don't cancel sessions unless I really can't make it. And I thought to myself, if people are crazy enough to want to come and see me in this weather, I am going to show up. So it was cold, but we had candles. And it was so beautiful. It felt like a church in here. I had like 5 different candles. So I have done that ever since. It seems like having candlelight invites you to explore your inner realms much better than fluorescence or incandescence. Natural light really helps. Bless your heart. This is a double terminated smoky quartz. That means 2 ends. And it's an celestial. If you look at it, it's got sort of a stair-step pattern on it. And that means that this guy comes in and gets to know exactly what is going on with your energy. And it gives you exactly what you need. It doesn't guess. It doesn't just, like, have you been in a conversation with somebody who just doesn't really listen and just gives their opinion as if it's true, as if it's helpful? It might be true. It may or may not be helpful. This one is just helpful. It also has water inside of it, which has been there. You probably can't see it because it's too small, but it's been in there for millions of years. Water, again, is about the feminine and the subconscious realms. That which is underneath the surface, that which is emotional. So it helps to move that and access that in a person. I found this on a hike with my kids during COVID. It was next to a river, buried in the mud, and I saw the horn poking out. So I pulled on it, and there it was. It's an antler. So this part of the animal reaches up into the sky, right? Reaches up toward God, higher powers. It takes bravery and courage to want to do that. It's much easier to stay bound in whatever you're doing and to be like the snake chasing its own tail, the Ouroboros. It takes a lot of energy and upward mobility to do something different. So that's what this represents. When people cry, I put their Kleenexes in because tears are badass. They really are. It's like giving yourself a psychic enema. And in cases where no tears are shed, it carries the archetype of warrior. Also, some people have a strong Norse background, and they need to come in here and feel that their soul is recognized. And this helps to make those people feel more comfortable at a very subtle, subconscious kind of a level. When people are done with their session, I take the Kleenexes out to a really amazing pecan tree, just right out there outside the office. And I put the Kleenexes in the branches of the tree. Because I believe tears not only are a psychic enema, but they hold our story. They hold the exact vibration of whatever we went through. So in my vision and in my heart, I imagine angels coming and lifting those up and taking them straight to the throne room. Or, if that's not, throne room is too churchy for you, some other place. We don't get hung up on words here. That's dumb. This is a wicker ball. And I found out this is in Europe and across the world, wicker balls like this. Actually, the landscaping balls that are shiny that you see everywhere, these repel evil. I could not tell you why that is the case. in the magical tradition that is called apotropaic magic. And I've just made people very uncomfortable now because I said magic, and also Jesus is my Lord and Savior. It's not an impossible contradiction. I want to explain to you that magic, what it is the conjunction of your will under the power of God and your imagination. God gave us both of those, a will and an imagination. You can shift anything that you're facing with those.